welcome to another Ultimate Fighter episode review. This is for Season 29, Episode 8, titled Fight or Flight, the last fight of the quarterfinals. So, yeah, the fight is Gilbert Urbina versus Miles Hunsinger, Gilbert from Team Volkanovski versus Miles from Team Ortega. Although it's not exactly that way. We're going to get into this one, so let's go. So the episode just immediately starts talking about Gilbert. There's no fallout or discussion of the aftermath of the previous fight. We just cut straight to Gilbert talking about his fighting style and where he's from, and the fact that he had two brothers who are also in the Ultimate Fighter, Eli and Gilbert. No, sorry, Hector. And he's from Mercedes, Texas, and he has a big love for his family. And his fighting style is very, very aggressive and forward. He's quite well-rounded, a really, really good grappler from what we see, and that is mostly what he focuses on. His opponent, Miles, we don't really get a background video on him. And there is a reason for this, because when he's training with Trayshawn Gore, who is one of his good buddies, because Trayshawn Gore is just the nicest guy in this season, Miles goes for a high kick, but he goes a bit too far and he hyperextends his knee and does some serious damage to it. For a good chunk of the episode, after this point, he is visiting the doctor, and the doctor tells him that what he has is a grade 2 tear in his MCL. Basically what that means is that's dead in the middle. If it were a grade 3 tear, he would immediately be out of the competition. If it were a grade 1 tear, he could risk going through a fight with it. It would be the best case scenario for him. But because it's a grade 2, it's dead in the middle. The doctor can't really say for sure, and it's completely Miles' choice. And Miles does an oddly sort of endearing thing where he tries to hide the fact that he's injured from everyone else. He's trying to hide his limp, he's trying to make it out that he's completely okay. I mean, he even shows up to the hair salon because he's visiting the doctor, and whenever I ask him why, he just says he's trying to get some extra credit. That is a bit sneaky, that is a bit cheeky, but yeah, I understand that, because he absolutely wanted to put a brave face on it, even to the point where the doctor, Jefferson Davis, who I think was in previous Ultimate Fighter seasons before, and it's always nice to see him, he did ask Miles if he wanted his coaches in there to discuss it with them, and Miles said no, but he actually told them later in the episode anyway. And at that point, when he did tell them, they did tell him to do some light warm-ups, like star jumps, just run around, try and do what he can with it, and the knee just feels stiff and he can't rotate it. And it does come to a point where Ortega and the other coaches tell him, you're going to have to make this choice for yourself, it's not one we're going to make for you. And absolutely 100% respect that, because, I feel like a lot of coaches would have outright told their fighter, you're not going to be able to fight. But the fact that Ortega and his coaches trusted Miles enough to make that choice for himself, that speaks volumes. And eventually Miles does make that choice. We do move to a segment where Dana White brings in an alternate fighter named Michael Gilmore, who is 34, making him the oldest in the show, the oldest fighter at least, and he has a 6-3 record, and he was still in Vegas at the time, and he took this fight on 2 days' notice and replaced Miles, and no one really knew what was happening until they were at the weigh-in area. They didn't weigh in for the fight, that wouldn't happen until the actual fight itself, but yeah, the two teams were standing across from each other, and Team Volkanovski were very confused as to what was going on. And they saw Dana walk down with Michael, and they thought, is Michael his is that his bodyguard? They didn't say is Michael his bodyguard because they didn't know his name. But yeah, they come down, and Dana White explains that Dana turns to Miles basically and tells him to tell the others what's going on, and Miles says that he's out of the competition because of his MCL, excuse me. And it gets a bit awkward after that. So, not between Miles and anyone else. Miles shakes hands with, members of his team, members of Volkanovski's team, members of Ortega's team and Volkanovski's team. And it's not awkward between him and Michael either, because Michael, he puts on a jersey quite well, he shakes hands with Miles and he understands how it's going, and there is a moment as well where Miles and Trayshawn Gore, who have been established as friends in the season, where Trayshawn says that he's really got him upset that this happened this way, because yeah, I don't blame him. Miles seemed like a pretty good guy, and we didn't even get to see him fight. But there is a bit where it gets awkward after that, where Volkanovski starts to try and paint Ortega as a bad guy. And I'm not really sure why he attempts to do that. I mean, I get it, there is a rivalry between the coaches, and yeah, to me, the worst thing that Ortega has done this season is that actually quite funny prank that not even Volkanovski was mad at, where he jacked Volkanovski's team's car tires and gave them donkeys. it's weird to think that Volkanovski is trying to stir some shit now, you know? Uh, it's weird how it goes to like so many different places, and I can't really like put a finger exactly on why it's happening. But yeah, Volkanovski is just trying to start a fair bit of drama, and I'm not 100% certain why. Still, it doesn't really shake up a lot. The weigh-in itself is completely fine, despite being on 2 days' notice. Michael Gilmore does make weight, and then we get to the fight itself, and as I was hoping for it to be 4-4, that's what it became. Gilbert Urbina wins by round 1 submission, and there is a sort of bit of like a thread going into that, because all 3 of Michael Gilmore's losses have been by submission. And for his training session with Team Ortega, they try and train him on submissions, and they do teach him a good couple of things. And he's training with Henna Gracie, you know, he's a Gracie. Like, they know their jits. But, yeah, it doesn't go well for him. Urbina immediately starts aggressive, goes for a good body punch, then sort of trips. Michael goes for a rear naked choke. Well, goes for a body triangle at least, and is in control of him as well for quite a lot of it. Michael tries to get up, tries to weasel out of it. He isn't able to slip out. He's still in the body triangle. And there is a moment where he sort of has Gilbert against his back against the cage wall, still in this position, by the way. And Gilbert is looking to land some really good shots and open him up. And bizarrely, one of Team Ortega's coaches says to elbow the shin, so Michael starts to elbow the shin. But he keeps leaving himself exposed, and eventually Gilbert gets the arm around, brings the other hand up, sings in the rear naked choke, and gets the tap. So it ties up a 4-4, and then we go to a bit after that where Dana White brings in coaches to talk about who they think the semi-final fights would be. And usually when this happens, the coaches disagree heavily, but they're ideas were pretty much the same. So these are the fights we're getting for the semi-finals. For the middleweights, we're getting Andrei Petroski from Team Ortega versus Brian Battle from Team Volkanovski, Tresean Gore from Team Ortega versus Gilbert Urbina from Team Volkanovski, Ludwig Sholinian from Team Ortega versus Ricky Tercios from Team Volkanovski, and Vince Murdoch from Team Ortega versus Brady Heistand, that is how it's pronounced, Heistand, from Team Volkanovski. And those are some gosh darn exciting fights. I'm especially looking forward to Petroski Battle. I think that might be one of the better ones of the season. And yeah, that's really about it. Although I did find it weird that Volkanovski and Ortega were so agreeable about the fights they wanted to see in Dana White's office when they were actually sort of standoffish when Dana White brought in Miles' replacement. And that did add a bit to the story of the fight as well. Because I remember asking myself, do we want to see this newcomer come in, who came in on 2 days' notice, or do we want to see Volkanovski's side tied off 4-4, and Team Volkanovski got the win, tying it off as 4-4. So that makes it goddamn interesting going into the semis. And there's not really a lot else to say for this review. That was the fight, that was the episode. It was a pretty solid way to end off the quarterfinals. Really liked the finish and how it ended. Really sad that Miles didn't get to fight, and hopefully he will eventually, maybe on the finale pay-per-view show. I'm hoping he does, because I would really like to see what he's capable of at some point. But yeah, that'll about do it for the full episode. The next thing I'll see you for might be Music of the Week episode tomorrow. I've still got one more album to review from last week, which is the new Beowulf album, Call of the Wild. I'm going to have fun going through that one, and then going through all 6 albums tomorrow. And next thing after that will probably be a Final Night review, but the most immediate thing I can promise you is a gaming stream tonight, because I'm not doing a pay-per-view stream of Violent Delights, because that's going to be saved until Tuesday, and it's going to be like streamed on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday and Friday, one day, like for each night, 1 night per day per stream. You know what I mean. Anyway, that'll about do it for this. Not really a lot else to say or do. I will see you all quite likely tomorrow as my cat comes into the room. Hello. And I'm just about to end the video. Alright, I'll end it then. Alright. So, yeah, that'll be it as always. Thank you for watching. You're awesome. Bye-bye.